this video is going to be what I sold on the various platforms that I resell on for the last, week and a half of January. So that's January 22nd until January 31st. And I actually have an Etsy sale to share with you. So I'm just gonna scoot over here so you can enjoy Murder Cat and Nicolas Cage here. Need to fix his face, there you go. But I sold 6 of the recipe soup mugs that you guys see me sell pretty frequently on this channel. It's kind of a thing that I have. And they bought 6 of them and their total was $55.12, and that includes shipping because on Etsy they prefer is if a customer spends more than $35, it's free shipping. Most of the time nobody does that, but I do have that built into the prices on Etsy just in case someone's smart and they buy more to not have to pay for shipping. So very happy with this. I paid about $5 for all the mugs, so I still made about $30 in net profit for this. And now we're gonna move over to eBay, where I have to make an apology and a correction. So 2 What Sold videos ago, Michelle left me this comment because she was the one that had bought the Mommy Dearest book from me, and I attribute it to Second. And the reason why I had done that is because I had her on the brain because she had just bought something from me, which is why I conflated the two. So Michelle, again, I'm very sorry. I know I apologize to you in the comments. Thank you for buying from me. I am so sorry I messed that up. And then second, thank you for buying this shirt for me. Again, I'm like trying to catch up my sales. So there was like a 2-week delay and I messed this up. So again, Michelle, I'm so sorry. And second, thank you for buying this for me. I'm guessing since it's a men's medium, it's probably going to the, as you call him, the light of your life. This I paid less than $1 for at the Air Force retirees house. So it's new with tags. It's just kind of like a meh golf brand, but it's really nice polo and hopefully he enjoys it. And she paid for this to go all the way to Canada, so second, thank you so much. And then we have another one of those Starbucks mugs. This one is Slovakia. I do still have the Czech Republic mug up for sale, so that's the last one that hasn't sold yet. But this Slovakia mug sold for $52 on offer and the buyer paid $12 for shipping. So I paid $7.50 for this, and this sold within a week of me listing it. So it's making me feel like, especially since I found out that all of those mugs were 25% off on the day I went and got them, it makes me feel like I should have bought all of them, but I'm glad the ones I picked out were the good ones. This is a set of 4 vintage Anchor Hawking lowball. So this is for like whiskey. I really like this tartan Manchester pattern. They're very heavy, they're very quality. Like, if you drop this, probably 75% of the time it's not gonna break just because it's such a solid piece of glass. I paid, I think, $2 for all 4 of them, and someone bought them for $9 and then paid for shipping. I had these listed for a while. The colored ones, so the ones that are the emerald green or the blue or the purple, those sell much better, but these clear ones kind of just sit. So I learned my lesson there, and I'm glad they've gone off to a new home. I figured if they didn't sell by the end of this year, I was just gonna keep them. This item I talked about on my Instagram when I found it. This is Milk Crate Athletics NYC. It is a streetwear brand out of New York. I think it's founded by a DJ from there. I found this bucket hat for $3 at New to You, and I sold it for $30 and the buyer paid for shipping. It sold within a couple weeks of me listing it. And the reason why I sold it for $30 is because someone messaged me with the offer and they would just put pretty please. And I was having such a rough day because I was still at my 9-to-5 job when this offer came through, and it made me laugh. So I was like, you know what? You made me laugh. I was having a bad day. You get the thing. And they left me a really nice message saying thank you so much. And yeah, that made my day. It was also really cool to find it. So if you do find these bucket hats, they are still currently on trend. For less than $5, I might pick them up. This is something I thrifted 100% with my eye. This has no brand. It has no brand, it has no material tag. I just purely pick this up for aesthetic alone. This is from the 70s. It's a men's polyester polo shirt, or it's button front shirt actually. It had this zipper up here and on top of the pocket, and I literally wrote in the description, zipper above pocket is non-functional. There's no pocket, just nipple. Because if you unzipped it on a man, it literally would just, it's like a zipper to the nipple. I don't know why it was there. Don't really care. But this actually sold within a week of me listing it, which is really fast for vintage and for having absolutely no brand associated with it at all. It just, aesthetics sold it, and surprisingly aesthetics sold it on eBay for my full asking price of $17.87, and the buyer paid for shipping. So really happy I picked that up. This is something I, as you can see, modeled myself. This is from the 90s. This is Southern Classics. I paid $1 for this at a thrift store across from the boys' house. Since I paid $1 for it, I was perfectly happy to accept an offer of $7, and the buyer paid for shipping. That actually sold pretty quickly too for a vintage piece. Sold within like a couple weeks of me listing it. This next piece I had to decline so many lowball offers for this skirt, but someone finally sent me a decent offer of $27, and then they paid the padded flat rate for shipping, and this went off onto the West Coast somewhere. I'm super happy that it moved on to a new home. I had bought this at an estate sale for about $4. This is another really quick flip. I picked this up for about $5 at a local Goodwill. I paid, again, $5, and it sold for $15, and the buyer paid for shipping. So I sold this within 2 weeks. You know, I'm more than happy to double my money and then some on a fast flip like that. I will do that repeatedly. That's worth my time to me. This, I was so sad when it sold. So I picked up these two threadless shirts that had like Asian art on it, and I sold the Ramen Wave to my friend Donna privately, and then this one sold, which is the Cat and Koi. You guys have seen me wear it in a couple of videos because it was so comfortable. But it sold for my full asking price of $9.87, and the buyer paid for shipping. So I got to wear it a few times before I moved on to a new home, so I'm a little sad it left though. I found this for 25 cents at the New to You thrift store. I found all three of these. I thought about selling them in a lot, but then I just decided to piece them out. So I'm thinking maybe I should have sold them in a lot. But this one sold for $4.87. This is actually the third book out of the three. I would have figured that the first book would have sold before this one, but sold for my full asking price of $4.87, and the buyer paid for shipping. Again, 25 cents into that. Books are super easy to list. I will do that as well. This went internationally, so someone paid like an insane amount of money for this pair of vintage 80s tights. So these are the stirrup tights, the ones that have the little thing in the bottom with the foot. And it sold for my full asking price of $12.87, and the buyer paid not only for shipping for me to ship it to Kentucky, but also shipping to ship it overseas. So I picked this up for, I believe, $1 at an estate sale. Not one I got to film though, so it was a surprise estate sale to me. This I paid $3, I believe, at New to You. This is a vintage St. George's Golf Club. This is from, I had to look up, it's in Bermuda. It's a visor. This did have some pretty nasty staining, but I use the ball cap buddy in my dishwasher, and with some baking soda and some Dawn dish soap, and it got all the staining pretty much right out. Actually, if you look at the cap picture, you can see the lines that the ball cap buddy left on it. Those come out with wear. But yeah, sold for my full asking price of $14.87, and the buyer paid for shipping. This I bought for aesthetics as well. This is a Stetson, very cottagecore top. I think I paid, I don't remember. I either paid $1 for this or I paid $4 for this. I know that's quite the difference. I can't remember. No, I paid $4 for the bridal piece. I think I paid $1 for this. So it sold for $11.90, and the buyer paid for shipping. This I picked up for 25 cents at an estate sale. This is a book club first edition of The Stepford Wives. If you have not seen this movie, please go watch it. It is much better than I thought it was going to be, but I very much enjoyed it as well. So 25 cents into $8. Again, books are super easy to list and the buyer paid for shipping. And then I sold one of these ashtrays. This is a mid-century modern Swedish ashtray. This particular style is called a boomerang because it looks like a boomerang. And it sold for $10 and the buyer paid for shipping. I paid $2 for 2 of these. So it was like basically $1 a piece. Very happy about that. I then sold this Bowden piece. This is 100% linen. This picture is terrible. I don't know how or why it sold, but it's a terrible picture and I'm so glad that it sold. I paid $4 for this at a CHKD and someone bought it for $14 and then they paid for shipping as well. So happy about this. You guys saw this in a recent haul video. This is Johnny Cupcakes. I love finding Johnny Cupcake stuff. It's so rare that I do, but it's very easy to recognize. Paid $2.50 for this at a Goodwill by the Boys House, and it sold for $19 and the buyer paid for shipping. This is something that I had listed for a while. So I started at the last week of January ending 5 items that had been listed for more than 3 months and had over 100 views, and then just relisting it. So just selling similar. And this shirt had been sitting for like 4 months with hundreds of views. As soon as I delisted it and relisted it, it sold within 24 hours. So I would highly recommend doing that if stuff is not moving in your store, because it's been working for me. But it sold for $14.87 and the buyer paid for shipping, and I paid $4 for this at a Goodwill, so very happy about that. I picked up 2 of these satin frosted glass with a hobnail base. These are fairy lights. This is whenever I have a fairy light or Vaseline glass, my first picture is always going to be this 4 square, so that way you can, if it's Vaseline glass, uranium glass, it'll show it under black light and then in regular light, and then if it's a fairy light, I show it in regular light and then also with a candle in it as well, because I think that helps it sell. And I took an offer for 1 of these for $11 and the buyer paid $10 for shipping, so I still have 1 of these. They're very pretty. I then also sold this vintage wool blend skirt. It came with a matching faux leather belt. I paid $4 for this at an estate sale and it sold for $19.90 and the buyer paid padded flat rate shipping. So these mid-century wall pockets, I bought these for $6 at an antique store. I thought that they would sell faster and for more money, but they didn't. So I'm very happy that I took an offer of $19.90 and the buyer paid $15 for shipping. I still, you know, made more than the $6 I paid for at the antique mall. So I tripled the money, but I honestly thought these would sell better because they were beautiful. And then we have a tie. I do sell them. I don't just buy them. I do actually sell the ties I buy. This is one of the Ralph Marlin vintage ties. This is the Toulouse-Lautrec tie. So if you've ever seen the Moulin Rouge, that is the artist they feature, played by, I'm not gonna be able to remember his name. He's the same guy who played Bruno in Encanto. It's gonna be this guy. Can't remember his name. But yeah, I sold it for $7.40 and the buyer paid $4.50 for shipping. I paid $2 for this. This is another one of those items that I had listed forever, had hundreds of views, wasn't moving. And I picked this up for like 50 cents at an estate sale and it sold for $4.87 and the buyer paid $4.50 for shipping within 24 hours of relisting it. So this is the second time in this week where that happened, and yeah, it's definitely been working for me. And then the last thing I have to share with you is this vintage Eli Plains Western shirt. You guys know I love picking up those pearl snaps, and it's because I sell the pearl snaps. And it sold for $12 and the buyer paid for shipping. Again, I paid like $4.50 for this shirt. And I will do that all day long. I am in it for the fast flip. So I do not mind doubling or more than doubling my money if it is going to be quick. So I'm very grateful for all of my sales. I know this was been a thicker video, but it is for a week and a half and not just a week. I am hoping, now that I'm full-time, it's gonna get to the point where I might have to do shorter day sales, like instead of doing a week, but I'm not there yet. I know it's gonna be there, Moxie, I promise. But I sold 25 items, so I pretty much every week in January, I sold 18 items consistently every week, and then the last week and a half, I sold 25, so that's good. And I will give you my total net profit numbers when I do my January recap, which will be later on this month. So thank you guys so much for watching this girthy video. I hope you guys found some items you'd be interested in picking up for yourself, and until next time, bye. Bye. And because you guys could hear her and couldn't see her, here's Miss Moxie. She's yelling at me because it's time to feed her. Isn't that right, baby girl? Yeah, okay, I'm gonna feed you.